I think it's not for me to be prepping. Well, what a week we're having. It's for a prepper, it's very concerning the way things are going in the world. A lot of things to think about, plan for, or to evaluate your plans. So we covered quite a lot. I was going to cover bugging out, but I thought I'd just do warning signs, which is a part of being a prepper, and I know I roughly covered it a little bit before, but I thought I want to go into a bit more. So, warning signs. What in the world this week would you consider warning signs? So, some might say the war in Israel restarting up now after the ceasefire what they had. Potentially, yes. Definitely warning signs that could, now it's started back up, it could escalate even further. And I heard today, or yesterday, because it's after midnight, that a British ship, an American ship, was fired upon. So things are getting heated in that area, and so as a prepper, wherever you are, you always try and plan and make sure the preps that you got are adequate for what you need to do. So, what are the warning signs? Well, some of you might have heard of this, a new virus that's coming out of China, and it's not me being racist, that's where it's being reported at the moment. And it mainly, at the moment, there's links just down below about the new virus. Now, Dr. David Campbell is the link below as well. He's looked into it and read some peer-reviewed research into it, and something about, I'm going to probably butcher this or get it wrong, vitamin A, what helps combat it. And it's been found that quite a lot of Europeans have a lot of vitamin A in their diet, so especially as children. So we, according to some of the studies, would be less prone to this new virus. Where in Asia, they're not so well, their diet, I'm not going to say the diet because it sounds like they're eating wrong, but they don't have as much vitamin A in what they eat. So they're more prone. So, is it something we should worry about? Is it something for us to have insist on having a experimental drug? No, not really. We need to find out a lot more about it. Just like before, there is no way that they can have a true antidote for it. I'm going to use these different types of words so I don't get blocked and striked and stuff like that, where they can combat it so quick because it's only just come out, you know. And if they turn around and say, "Oh, you need this," come on, look what they did in the past. Now, I'm not saying that we don't watch it and observe what happens, because there could be, like in many cases, a different drug which has already been on the market, what could help. So this is where you've got to balance up what you hear and what you get told. Now, I know one of my friends, he would say, follow the government advice. That didn't do too well last time. And the government, at the moment, me speaking out against what they would say, potentially, I will be called far right, which is a bit bonkers, because they don't really know me. They don't know me, my views. They might just assume, just because I'm a prepper, that I'm far right. That, if anything, I'll be a survivalist, not far right, far left. So please don't rush out and say, oh, we need vitamin A, or we need this, we need that, because the government or whatever said. Now, just like normal, I've broken down below. You can see where the videos like from YouTube and even papers, what they've covered of what I found out this week. So that's from Dr. David Campbell. There is another link directly underneath from another channel. It's all listed where the information is coming from. So that's that. Now Lily, she has, I've got her video down below. Now she's brought up something from one of her, someone that she knows, or someone who wrote into her and give a document or a statement saying where they work, and they work for, like, they're to do with computers and stuff like that, and they are saying of what insurance companies are planning to do in the future, and it's like the AI cars, or like chipped cars, or something like that. I know I'm butchering it and I'm not giving that much information, but Lily's got the full story, which is really good. But from what I've taken from what she said is the government would have the right, with the new system that's being put in place, of inspecting your, viewing your account or inspecting your account if you're receiving any benefits at all, which is a violation of your privacy, you know. And just because that you're on benefits doesn't mean to say that you're a master criminal, you know. Look at the bankers. Oh, sorry, didn't mean that. Hello. No. You know, it's a bit suspect. They've got the right to look at people's bank accounts, right, if you're claiming benefits, which is a bit pants if you ask me. You know, it's not right. You know, privacy. Most people on benefits don't get much money, and they're looking to see, oh, you might have got £1 extra. You know, you paid this pounding. Where'd you get that from? Oh, someone give me a tip because I helped carry their bags. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can't randomly or purposely look at someone's bank account without their knowledge, and for just you want to check it. It's wrong. But she's got the full story, and you know, it's all part of their plan. Oh, you know, conspiracy. But it's just the laws that they put in place for certain things. They always put something extra in what can be covertly used for other things, which is wrong. You know, be transparent, be honest. Like the MP was honest. Oh, hello. That's a laugh. So that's to do with like bank accounts, if what they can inspect. Now I don't know if they can. I don't think they can inspect you now, but especially with the digital ID, they're gonna, you know, digital everything going digital and stuff like that, and they'll be able to view it from, you know, right across the world, because who knows where this information is going to once you're signed up for it. And there is another part to that which I'm trying to think. She mentioned that, and also there was something what an MP was bringing up. Is the links down below. Do look at these links, you know, because they are interesting, and it's stuff what you might not be looking into. And it's all part of, look what they are trying to do, and try and adapt your preps in a way where you can counteract them, if that makes sense. You know, there's another link down below of a what was she? She was an athlete, and she played pool. That was it. Sorry, the old grey cells going. She was a pool player, and she got to the final, and she was playing. This is a women's tournament. A women's tournament, you know, biological woman, and there happened to be a trans woman, as they claim, in a women's tournament, and it was the finals, and she turned around and said, no, I'm not going to play against this person. Fair play to her, you know, and the video what's down below says the reason why, and it's perfect. More people need to stand up against stuff what they don't believe in. Women fought for so long to get their rights, and some twat putting on a skirt is trying to take it away from them, you know, and it's wrong. It's so wrong, you know, and they're trying to say that we're the ones who are far right because we don't agree with it. Well, look at most sports. Don't matter, you know, men are stronger, you know. There's been a lot of women fighters who have said, I can take this man, I can take this man, and when she's gone into the ring, he's just like played and just knocked her out, or, you know, beat her so quickly. You got to stand. There's got to be a line, you know. If the trans people want to take part in Olympics, have your own. You know, we have men's, we have women's. There's a disability Olympics. We can have a trans Olympics. You know, and if people want to watch that, they will, and you will get sponsored, and you know, don't take it away from someone else. Don't take an achievement what someone could earn because you're cheating. You're just a cheat, you know, and it's wrong. So obviously that's another story. I sidetracked. So this is all about prepping and warning signs. But these are warning signs. Believe it or not, all this is warning signs. And the protests what are going on, they are turning on more of a aggressive instead of being peaceful. So if there's a planned march, please don't be anywhere near it, because things can turn ugly really quick, and they always put in new laws to counter the far right, because if you're against Palestine at the moment, you know, you're far right. You know, I always thought if you was against Israel and the Jews, you're far right, because obviously Nazis were far right. So is the media and the governments at the moment saying that all their citizens are far right, because they claim it straight away. The stabbing in Ireland, the stabbing in France, the stabbing and stuff what happened in a couple of other countries. In America, far right protesters was out there. Quite often these are not far right people, you know, and with the way governments are saying they're reducing taxes, but in fact you're actually paying more tax. It just brings me back to another section, what you see down below, about revolution. Now, I am not calling for a revolution, right? But it's down under history about revolution, and the link is from the French Revolution and how that started. And it was started because the king at the time wanted to dabble into the finances of his country, France, and he heavily taxed the poor, and I presume like the middle class would have been part of that, because the hoity-toity upper class was like spared of all these taxes, because there was his pals, his friends, you know, let's eat cake. So that stirred unrest. Now, we already got unrest anyway because the cost of living, and taxes are going up. And if the government says, oh, we're not in a recession, how much has your bread gone up? How much has your milk gone up? You know, it's not gone up like a couple of pence. You know, I buy Scotch eggs across the road, and they was like under £3 4 months ago, and now they're like £4.30. You know, like 10p a month. You know, it doesn't make sense. You know, like such a jump up in the price, and it's causing more, not just the Scotch eggs across the road, but the price of living, because of the price of living, and obviously winter's here, fuel's slowly creeping up, as I pointed out last week, and it's going to cause more hardship, and there's going to be a lot more problems and people struggling, and the governments just seem to be so oblivious. It's like they're in their own little bubble. Even like your local MP is in his own bubble. He really must be, because most of them are not caring about the people who voted him in, and a lot of them might say, "Oh, we're going to vote this way. We're going to vote that way." Don't believe half of these polls, because people will just say it, right, just to get the person away, and just to, like, well, if I say I'm going to vote for Paddington Mayor, everyone's going to say, you're far right, we've got to watch this, you know. So when people are talking on the streets and they get interviewed, oh, what do you think about trans lives? They're going, we agree. But when they're back at home and when in the secret of a ballot, the majority of people won't agree, because if it's secrecy, they don't mind putting the truth in. If it's out in the open, they won't tell the truth, because they're going to see what's happened to people like me, other people around the country, and other people on TV. Because when they stand up, they get persecuted and they get attacked. They're called far right. You know. Now, with the troubles in Ireland at the moment, they had a stabbing, and it happened to be a migrant. Now, there's other crimes happening, right? But the tension's already there, because the amount of people they've pushed into the country. So there's tensions there already. Instead of trying to solve the tensions and the problems there, because everyone's saying, we can't see a GB, because all the migrants are seeing them. That may be true, might not be true. There could be less doctors because they've said, oh, too much work here, I'm going off to Australia or going to America, right? But if they don't solve the problems what the people are saying, they're going to use anyone as a scapegoat. You know, so if they're saying we can't get to see a doctor because of all these people coming in, the government thinks, right, let's deal with that problem, what people are saying, because if we can deal with that problem and we put in 5 more GP practices in every town around the UK, well, and they suddenly get appointments again, they can't be using that as an argument against migrants. Vetting should be going on, and if they're deemed that they shouldn't be here, you've got to send them back. So the far left activists and lawyers, if they've got a criminal record, they shouldn't be here. It doesn't matter about the human rights in that country. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't. Because if you've got a criminal record at the moment here, depending on what it is, you can't go on holiday to America. Full stop. Unless you lie. Like Harry. You know. Or may have lied. Obviously, I'm going to get a letter from Buckingham Palace saying, "Oh, you said that he lied." Well, I don't know, but there's claims that he could have lied on one of these forms. But with people saying, "This is the problem. This is why we say it's them," solve the problem. You're a government. You need to do this. You know, because if you don't, it will bring up more unrest. And you name calling, all of you, and you'll do it. You know, because you think you're untouchable. Well, you're not going to be untouchable because we can vote you out. That's how we can get to you, by voting you out and you never get back in again. And then you're going to be a pauper. Well, no, you probably go off to Davos and meet all your pals and they give you a really big job somewhere, because that's what happens with MPs and Prime Ministers and everyone else. They get into Europe, the European Union, and say, oh, here's a job for you, and you can decide what's going on. Yeah, unelected people deciding what's going on for everyone else. Cuckoo. But when you got a boiling point, and this is what we're coming to, and this is why it's part of the warning signs, all this unrest is part of the boiling pot. And I believe there was a stabbing in France yesterday, and they've already gone after, they're saying far right. Person has gone sent a message to the mayor saying, you know, remember history, remember the revolution, or words to that effect. Everything what I've covered is down below. You know, so it's not ESA, it's there, and I'll show you where they've got the evidence from. The thing what I do find funny, going back a little bit, but we get back onto the main topic, is that in America at the moment, and this is a new link, I happen to find it, you know, they've sent out a letter for the soldiers who were the soldiers who didn't get vaccinated, and they had a dishonourable discharge. That's it, sorry. My real teeth are not working properly. They've said that you can go to this link and you can get a honourable discharge. Because what we did was wrong. And if you'd like to come back to the army, it'd be most appreciated. So the government, see, this is the same thing. It's the government again, and this is what causes the unrest, and the unrest calls to riots, revolution, and stuff like that. Overtop balls, everything, and this is what you've got to be prepared for. And some of them come out as a curveball, you know. And I don't have prepping as a lifestyle, where I'm constantly doing stuff and constantly training. I go out with my daughter and we do stuff, and I teach her how to build stuff in the forest, how to obviously light fires, and as she gets older, I'll go into more and more things, like catch animals, prepare food from what you catch around. So it could be pigeons, it could be rabbits, it could be fish, what you're catching, and I will teach you all that. So being prepared for what might happen, it's a constant thing in that way, but it's not an everyday thing. But you should all be looking out every day of warning signs, and there's so many, as I said, you know, with all the riots, like the stabbings, what's been happening. I know in France they don't like people saying where someone comes from unless you're white, and then your name and where you come from and you're far right. Don't forget you're far right. If you speak out, then it's plastered everywhere. You know, it's a shame that we don't have honesty in the media, and the biggest twats is the BBC. So, because you can't rely on proper sort of sources, and that's why you have to look everywhere. And obviously there is a link from About the War, obviously the Enforcer. There is also Al Jazeera down there. As I said, look at both sides, and then you can get a rough idea of what's going on. Because warning signs, if you're in Israel or anywhere in that area, Cyprus is quite close. If I was living in Cyprus, I'll be making a lot more plans because it's not far away. You know, so my the warning signs of what's going on in the area, because obviously there's a lot of battleships out there, you know, of many different nations, because of what's going on. So potentially there's always something what could happen by accident, quite often, you know. But looking at what's happening and planning, seeing the warning signs and adapting what you've already got, and my plans change from time to time, because something what I've thought of would go up a couple of notches to be more concerned about. Not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or it's going to happen next week, but just like the pandemic, what we went through, no one thought that would happen in modern day, and it did. So seeing the warning signs, being prepared for them, is a good thing. And yes, you can just blow me off and say, he's a conspiracist, he's a fruitcake, he's lost his marbles, he's far right. Don't forget, I'm far right because I'll go against the government and what they're saying, and I will speak out against something what's wrong, you know. So that makes me far right. But just plan sensibly, you know. There's a lot of good out there, and there's a lot of good people, and I would judge someone on what I see and how they interact. I don't judge if someone's Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh. I don't judge by religion, and I don't judge by their colour, because that's not everyone, you know. There's many bad black people, there's many bad white people, many bad brown people, you know, do you know what I mean? And you can't just say because their colour they're bad. You know, it's like, get a life, you know, do your research. Don't say that every white man's a slave owner, you know, because if you look in history, you could say that loads of people from Egypt were slave owners, loads of people from Greece, Rome were slave owners, loads from Middle East were slave owners, and loads of people in Africa were slave owners, because obviously they sold the slaves to the white man back in them days. So, and if you're going to say, oh, you know, you're racist, well, I've got a t-shirt which says tough, but do your history, you know, and this, what I say, do your history. You will see warning signs in history of when that led up to it, you know, just in like the French Revolution, and you see that some things are always triggers, and some things just seem to rehappen every, you know, few, like 100 years or a couple 100 years, things start reoccurring, you know. So do your research. Don't throw names. You know, it's pointless, because, you know, you're like the government, and this is a message for the government and the media. You throw names around like anything, and if you are scared of spiders and you keep running into a spider, eventually you're not going to be concerned about the spider, because you keep seeing them. Saying someone's racist or say someone's right wing, well, if you keep saying it to someone who's not, one, they're going to get quite pissed off, and you won't have the same effect as saying it. Do you know what I mean? It won't have the same effect on them, and so they're more likely to speak out and say, well, no, I'm not, you twat. You know, but that's what happens. Now, obviously, it's coming to the 30-minute mark, and I don't want to go too long, because you're going to get bored of me talking, and some of you have probably already stopped, and some of you haven't. But if you have enjoyed it, give a thumbs up. It's just down there. Like and subscribe, pass it on to other people. Leave a message. If you think I'm bonkers, please say. I don't mind. And keep your training up. And please do look at the links below. It's not me saying, oh, go to this person, or go to that person, don't come back. But if you notice any other channels that could be relevant, pass them down. Pass them on, put them in the chat who you want me to look up, where you get information from. It's been interesting this week. So next week, I've got the program. I've got things semi-sorted out. I've practiced a few times. They didn't come out quite right. One video what I edited for the first time, you couldn't hear me. So that was a bit concerning. I done something wrong, as I generally do when I'm trying to learn something new. But I'm going to still keep practicing, and sorry, I'm going to try and get it so it's right, and then bring, so next week's one, where I'm going to be talking about bugging out and the equipment what you would need for bugging out, will be on a edited video, might as well say. So fingers crossed for that. But keep safe out there. Be aware of your surroundings, because it is dangerous at weekends in London and other places in the world. And for those on marches and protesting, tone it down a bit. You know, you're only going to make it worse for yourselves. Believe me, it will be worse for you, because obviously governments will have to start reacting to you, because the paymasters behind them will start getting fed up. They will pass new laws what will be beneficial for them, not for us, and it will be restricting everyone's rights, which is be sad. And they're already doing that with the online safety bill and stuff like that, because that's really not really online safety bill for everyone. It's just online safety bill for the rich and powerful, and like anything what they want to put in to the world, which we don't agree with, because they think they know better than us. Yeah, okay. Sad day. Have a good night, everyone. It's almost 2 o'clock here. And be safe, keep practicing, and I'll be back next week with another video all about bugging out. Have a good week, be safe again, and speak to you soon.